why no complaints may actually be a very bad sign for your team, for your organization. Hello and welcome to Communication Psychology and HR. My name is Gerhard. I'm a psychologist from Hamburg, Germany, living here in the Republic of Moldova. I'm specialized in international, intercultural, and multilingual contexts. Of course, we don't like conflicts, and many believe, maybe especially in HR professions, that when we have a positive work environment, then it's good. But the problem is, what does the definition mean of a positive work environment? For many, it's the absence of conflict, the absence of arguments. The problem is that positivity as a norm can also mean that people are afraid to speak up, not necessarily because there is some kind of harassment or intimidation going on, but it's simply an effect of respect. So, for example, if you go into a museum or you visit a religious building, a church or a temple, you instinctively behave differently, or entering a library. Now, this doesn't mean that you have been threatened or intimidated by the librarian or the people in the museum, but you understand here it's an implicit norm how I should behave in such a setting. And human beings are very sensitive to such implicit norms. And if I am employed in your company, then I immediately look for cues how I should behave here, what's acceptable. And if everybody is positive, if there are no open discussions, arguments, conflicts, then I understand that we have here a positivity norm. And if I have criticism, concerns, problems, then I understand that it's better for me to not voice them. The same for customers. So the default for most of us is not to open up about what we think or feel. Only in really unacceptable cases, then we speak up, of course. But the most important for a company is how to handle those minor grievances of customers and employees. And typically, those minor grievances are not shared if you, as an organization, as a team, do not do a conscious and aware effort of making them voiced. And there are different aspects we could discuss here, but we will do this in separate videos, but could go into the direction of creating psychological safety in your team. So people feel it's safe to make interpersonal risks, to voice misunderstandings or lack of understanding, to say, I honestly don't understand what we are talking about here. So if you don't do this, or if you don't go out of your way to encourage customers to voice concerns, things they are slightly dissatisfied with, then this information will not get shared and you get no chance of repairing it. So actually, a healthy work environment includes arguments. We have professional disagreements. We should have professional disagreements if we want to improve something. The question is, they need to be adequate. So I recommend my upcoming book, Adequate Business Communication. So we need to communicate in a way that's appropriate for the situation and for the other person and for ourselves. So, well, it may not be appropriate to voice those disagreements in front of a customer, but this doesn't mean that they shouldn't be voiced at all in the organization. So what are your opinions on this? Where do you fall on this spectrum of communicating everything or communicating nothing? We're often accustomed to black and white thinking. So if somebody suggests, like me, that we should encourage people voicing their concerns, then immediately we have the straw man argument that, well, you want us to have ongoing arguing and fighting in our company. Of course not. But it's gradual improvements or changes. In many companies, in many organizations, it's from going from 0 to at least 2% or 5% of sharing such concerns. Huh? And once again, it's not about the extreme cases. That's also important, of course, because we want people to report harassment and bullying and so on. That's of course important. But this is probably not the majority of unvoiced concerns employees have. So as a customer, you may be at a restaurant, you may have slight things you don't like, but they are not major. So it's not, you don't want to sound like problematic or emotionally unstable. So you better keep it for yourself, but you decide not to go to that restaurant again. So for the restaurant to get this information, the waiter or the restaurant needs to do extra steps of encouraging and maybe even proactively suggesting. So, are you really comfortable with the seat or not? I wish you much success. We meet next week. If you have questions, please contact me soon. Or you can also contact me for getting a review copy of my upcoming book out in September, but I will send you the already edited and readable version of it so you can use it for free, of course. All the best.